Welcome Wargamers, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough, and I'm doing something new and exciting for me anyway in 2023. I'm running an event at Adepticon, and I would like you to check it out. It's a little bit different, it's not going to be for everyone, as you will soon find out, but what I thought I would do is walk you through my tournament pack, kind of our thoughts behind the event, who it's for, and really just ask the question, do you know anyone who would want to participate? I want this sucker filled up. But before everyone gets a little too excited, here's the thing. I am running the Youngbloods event. Me and my co-host of The Emperor Protects and the host of Cubic Shenanigans, Dan Bears, an awesome guy. He's kind of taken me under his wing and we are running this together. And so it's been an absolute blast to get to hang out with Dan even more than I normally do. And I'm so excited for this. But the Youngbloods, what that means is this is going to be a 14 years old and under tournament held at Adepticon for Age of Sigmar. 1,000 point games. Drop your little kid off at like 9:30 in the morning-ish. Pick them up at 4. They will have had an entire event that is safe, secure, and rewarding for them. I wanted to do this as an event first because, one, what a great way to ingratiate yourself, right? Where the stakes aren't as high, the pressure isn't as high, where really the truth is as long as all the participants in the game walk away having had fun, that is the ultimate goal, you know, from the outset as adults trying to kind of seed the next generation of wargaming. I love that as a focus, and it's something that I've done in my personal life, volunteering with youth, particularly high school and middle school kids, which is about what we're going to be talking about here. And I love it. And if I'm really worried about like running an event, quote unquote, wrong, you know, there's some training wheels involved for everybody, participants and TOs. So what I'd like to do is just go through this tournament pack. Honestly, it's kind of a great one for like a weekend event as well. Like if you just want to have a small local one-dayer, I highly recommend you to check it out. So let's dive into it. Here we are at the basic rules. It's going to look a little different on the PDF that like Adepticon gives you because they have their own fancy background. This is what it translated into in Google Docs, but it makes it easier for me to record and walk through with you guys. So that's why we're here. The basic rules here. Welcome to Age of Sigmar Youngbloods event at 2023 Adepticon. The battle pack will provide the information you need to construct your favorite Age of Sigmar army on the tabletop. And whether you played no games or lots of them, this battle pack will help you. So really what we're addressing is people who, you know, younger folks who just love to smash models, and those of us who are, you know, they're kind of developing that tactical mindset and have played some games should relatively be able to have some fun. In addition to a printed version of this, you'll need the Age of Sigmar core rulebook, which the General's Handbook comes with the core rules in the back. That's fine. The battle tome for your army, lots of 6-sided dice, a tape measure, and 5 copies of your army list. One for yourself and one for each of your opponents as well as the organizers. We give all kinds of information about how you can build your army and that kind of stuff. Now we do have our own battle pack when it comes to things that you're allowed to take for 1,000 points. You can have a maximum, again, of 1k, has to be from a singular battle tome, and your army may have 1 to 3 leaders, 2 or more battle line units. You can only reinforce up to 2 units a single time, a single model with a points value of 400 points that is not unique. So what that means is no mega heroes. We're not going to be doing that. You can get to have one that's a non-named character that's more than 400 points, but nothing else. No behemoths unless they are battle line, no artillery, no endless spells. You choose one of these for your army, you get 1 command trait, 1 enhancement, and 1 artifact from your battle tome. We're doing this specifically not to tone down the interest of the game, but to give the most streamlined rule set for new and young players. Don't worry about the core stuff mixing and just pick stuff from your battle tome, right? Your dudes look cool, just pick stuff from there, along with a few other things to make it so that, you know, behemoths aren't stomping every objective to and fro. Youngbloods will not be using battalions, allies, coalitions. It will not be using any triumphs. You pick one of these grand strategies and you use that the entire time. Again, we're just trying to get these kids to focus on a singular thing and do it really well with the tools available in their book. And for these, we have the classic 3. Sever the head. You can complete this grand strategy if there are no heroes from your opponent's army on the table. Vendetta. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if the model chosen to be your opponent's general has been slain and the model that chosen to be your general has not been slain. Then we have Hold the Line. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are any battle line units from your starting army on the table. For me personally, I tend to go hold the line because I play Bone Splitters and everything's battle line. Now this is where things get a little bit different, because we're trying to not just incentivize a streamlined approach to rules, which is of course kind of what the corralling of your resources in the last section did, but now we're actively trying to create fun moments on the table between these folks who just have these really cool models they want to smash around. So placing your armies in the battlefield, this is going to function exactly like we do in the normal stuff. Whoever's the last person to finish deploying gets to go first. Each battle lasts 5 rounds. The battle plans, we're not locked into choosing which ones we play until the actual event. And we're going to choose simple stuff. I'm not going to make it complicated. You're not going to use anything from the General's Handbook. You can use faction terrain if you have it available to you as normal. Monstrous rampages are not going to be used except for Stomp, or those found on War Scrolls in your battle tome. So like if you're, I guess the New Beasts of Chaos book is likely going to have some. Those can be used, of course, but we're trying to, again, we don't want to worry about the terrain status condition at that. We want to keep beasts being beasts, so Stomp only. Wizards cannot miscast spells, you just fail the spell. And universal command abilities that can be used in Youngbloods: Unleash Hell, All Out Attack, All Out Defense, Forward to Victory, and Inspiring Presence. Those are your core ones, of course. You may also use command abilities found on War Scrolls within your battle tome, but we're not going to do the whole thing where you have extra command abilities based on the battle pack, anything like that. So how do we get into kind of corralling gameplay into a particular mode? Well, first we have Protect the General. This is just a core rule for our entire battle pack. Opponents may not target your general with a shooting attack if the general is not unique, has a wounds characteristic of 9 or less, and is within 3 inches of a hero monster unit with a wounds characteristic of 10 or more, a friendly non-hero monster unit that contains 5 or more models. So if he's next to a really big guy, he can kind of duck behind him, or if he's next to a unit that's 5 or more dudes, he can hide behind them. This is trying, again, it's a 1,000 point list, so the heroes are not going to be big smashies. They're going to be stuff like my Savage Big Boss, and we're just trying to ensure that they can get to combat to do what they need to do. Fun fact right here, it says, we have an example. Your Vampire Lord, not unique and only 5 wounds, is within 3 inches of a Vengorian Lord, 10 wounds. The Vampire Lord may not be targeted. Again, he's hiding behind the big guy, but just as a side note, my autocorrect definitely changed Vengorian into vegetarian, and I loved it. Next up for the rules is Moments of Glory. Moments of Glory are the stuff of legend, recorded and retold for years to come. A player may accomplish a moment of glory at any time in the game and may score a single moment of, more than a single moment of glory in a turn. A player cannot accomplish the same moment of glory more than once per game. And so this is where sort of our equivalent to victory points is really going to be factored in. Like, this is the flavor on top of the objectives. It's very lightweight. It's just a pass-fail, pretty much a checklist at the end of the game, right? You can just kind of determine what you've done. That's the idea anyway. And so we're trying to incentivize these young folks to have conversations, to like replay the game and kind of get that instilled, that there's a healthy conversation that happens while you work, you know, communally with your opponent and anyone who is watching, to kind of piece together the events in the story. So we have Cut Off the Head. You score this moment of glory when the enemy general is slain. Clash of the Titans. If a friendly monster successfully charges an enemy monster, heck yeah. Hold the Field. You score this at the end of the game if you hold more objectives than your opponent. Outflank. You score this if you have more models in your opponent's territory than they do. Stand Defiant. You score this at the end of a turn. A friendly unit started the battle with 5 or more models has only 1 model remaining on the battlefield. So stands alone from the rerolling ones gang. Exactly. And that's probably going to be the one where I think it gets most the missed the most. There we go. But it's a fun one. And then there is Insane Bravery. You score this when a friendly hero with a wounds characteristic of 6 or less successfully charges an enemy monster. So be stupid is what they're saying. I like it. The idea is, again, pass fail, check them off. Per game, you're only going to score it once per game, but you can score as many of them as you can possibly try to. And so this is going to be our incentive for pushing kids to do crazy awesome things. As their heroes are protected, they can now move up the field and charge monsters or go after the enemy general or something like that. So scoring works a lot like the General's Handbooks that we've seen in the past. You score a VP if you have 1 objective, you score if you have 2 or more. 1 if you have more objectives than your opponent, and 1 for any moment of glory that you accomplish. So you want to be accomplishing those things. Score 3 VP if you've accomplished your selected grand strategy at the end of the battle. The player with the most VPs wins a major victory. If you have the same number, it goes into the moments of glory is the one that breaks ties, and anything else is a draw. Here you can see our scoring bracket. The battle makes up 51% of the total. Moments of glory is a big thing. Grand strategies, appearance, which is your painting. Basically, you came trying, right? Obviously, we're grading on a different curve because I'd be fine if a bunch of, 11-year-olds used finger paints. But we're grading on a curve. But that's cool. But we want to get used to the idea of there being painting standards, and this is how you engage in the community. So that's an important thing. And then sportsmanship. We're going to be playing with sportsman stuff, I think, a little bit, because this is definitely an area I want to incentivize. I want really sportsmanship and camaraderie to be the center stage above winning games. For our awards, we kept it very basic here, but we are going to be adding more based on those kind of flavor crazy ideas, because it's for kids. We want everyone to walk away feeling like they got something fun, a memory, and then something to attach it to, whether it's a widget or something like that. We'll give away a bunch of stuff. Best overall, person with the highest combined score, including all of it. That's just a blanket statement. Best overall. Most glorious, the person with the most moments of glory points. I love it. I'm gonna put one here called the Lore Masters Champion, which is just they wrote the best story for their army. That's my opinion. I need to throw that in. Then there's best sportsman. You're going to evaluate your opponent on their preparedness, timely play, and how much you enjoyed playing them. And then sportsmanship scores, we'll kind of put that all together at the end. And then there is best painted, and it basically is, we have a little rubric down here just to give you some kind of sense of what we're doing. Like I said, I'm going to be tweaking this and playing around with it. We do have the right to do that. But just know, if you're a parent watching this and you're like, not sure if you want your kid to participate, we're going to make sure everyone has a good time and that nobody feels bad for any kind of painting level, because we all start somewhere, and just by virtue of their age, they're all at the early parts of that. So here's our event schedule. We're going to start at 9:30 a.m. for check-in, be done at 4, and this is on Sunday, March 26th, 2023. Here we do go over some policies. These are a combination of just general Adepticon things. It's just making sure no one has an argument. You can bring a dice tray, make sure your opponent has a chance to see the dice. Everything should be on the right base. Try to make sure you prepare yourself as much as possible. Nothing crazy or unique there. But that comes together to form the Youngbloods packet for 2023. If you have any fun ideas for awards and stuff like that, I would love to hear them. Like I said, I'm going to slip in one I think is the Lore Masters Champion. Whoever writes the best story for their army, I think, would be a lot of fun. They're 1,000 points. There's not a whole lot of characters these kids would have to juggle. Not looking for Shakespeare here. And of course, our mission selection will have a lot to do with that. We're still kind of going through, but they're going to be very basic. I mean, whatever the easiest ones to keep track of are, so that me and Dan kind of walking around functioning as a third party, game masters, judges, TOs, all of that kind of party promoter to make sure all the kids are having fun. We're going to keep an eye on those to make sure that it's something that's very easy to track, just in case we need to be the ones tracking it for the kids. As far as you and your kid coming, just understand parents are more than welcome to come and hang out with their kids. You're welcome to leave them, drop them off. We only ask that you don't pilot their army from behind. You just let them play, and if anything's wrong, make sure we have some contact information for you. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this. In fact, I want to have my good friend Tyler Emerson on to talk about, he's done a lot of great work when it comes to awards and how that channels the energy of the event. He did a great a narrative kind of like B-Team award. I did that last year, me competing with Brendan Melnick from Cubic Shenanigans over that at Vault Wars, Tyler's event. And I'm just looking forward to it again. So that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in. Let me know your thoughts and suggestions in the comments down below. I would love to hear and see them. Thank you so much for listening. Happy wargaming.